Shalom Aleichem, welcome to Assyrian Dishes Gardening. I'm Julian and today I'll be showing you how to grow Swiss chard from seed in a container. So let's start gardening. These are the equipment that you will need to sterilize and sanitize your growing equipment before you start planting. You will need a 1 litre spray bottle with water, 100% cold pressed neem oil, some dishwashing liquid, seed starting containers, trays, boiling water, some gardening shovels, plastic containers, seed starting mix, and some earthworm castings. To make the neem oil sanitizer, add 2 capfuls of the neem oil and 2 drops of the dishwashing liquid and shake. You will need to spray in each of the containers, inside and under, and your trays to prevent fungus gnats. To sterilize your seed starting mix, you will need a container. Add about 10 litres or 3 gallons of seed starting mix. It's in the big container. Mix it around a bit. Break it up. Because your soil is dry, you will need to moisten it, and to sterilize it, you need to add boiling water. Do not use garden soil from outside because it contains bacteria. Always use seed starting mix. Your soil needs to be moist, but not too moist that it's too wet. Just needs to be just right, just like a cookie dough. Let it sit for a while, for about 5 minutes, so the boiling water sterilizes the soil. Then you will need to add 1 cup of worm castings to your seed starting mix to give it that extra nutrients, and 2 teaspoons of neem oil. Mix it all together and your seed starting mix is ready. These are the equipment you will need to start your seeds. You will need the sterilized seed starting mix, shovel, seed starting containers, trays, your seeds, neem oil spray, ground cinnamon, and some labels. First thing you need to do, check that your containers have drainage holes. The water doesn't stay inside your containers to prevent root rot. First thing we're going to do is add the soil into the containers. Fill them up, just like that. I'll fill the rest of the containers and I'll come back. Second thing we're going to do is make a hole in the middle, just like that, about 1/4 inch deep. Make a hole for each of them, just like that. I'm going to plant 1 seed in each container. First thing I'm going to plant is the Swiss chard. Remember to plant these seeds at least 2 weeks before the last frost date, not earlier, because they will outgrow the container. The Swiss chard seed just looks like that. Place it in, cover it up, and don't forget to label Swiss chard. Next thing we're going to do is spray them with the neem oil to prevent fungus gnats. Then sprinkle some cinnamon powder to prevent mold. And that's it. I'm going to place them in a grow light box for them to germinate. Once they germinate, I'm going to take them out and put them under the grow light stand. These are the equipment you will need to make a grow light box and how to use a heat mat. You will need a clamp light, a light bulb which has 1600 to 3000 lumens and 4500 to 6500 Kelvin. You will need a heat mat and a 66-litre plastic container which has a lid. You will also need a cardboard box to lift the trays of your plants to be close to the clamp light, and you will need a marker and a box knife. The first thing you need to do is to disassemble the clamp light. Draw with a marker the point where you're going to put the clamp light to hold the edge of your lid and the center. From the center all the way to the lid, mark a line using the light in the center. You're going to draw a circle or a square outline where you're going to cut the lid. Using a box knife, cut. So I've made a square cut in the middle to place the light globe. I've made another small cut in the middle for the spring, for the opening of the spring. Going down the slit, I've made another slit on the edge of the lid for the clamp light to hold on. I've put the light shade back on, screwed it in. Now we're going to screw in the light globe. I've plugged the power point. This is how it should look like. I'm going to place the heat mat at the bottom of this container. Originally I was going to put a box underneath, but I don't need to because the container of the seeds are high enough for the grow light to reach. So I'll just demonstrate. I put my seedlings inside on top of the heat mat. Put the lid on top. The light reaches the seedlings. If it was too low, I would put a box underneath to reach the light. Keep the seedlings inside the grow box for 18 hours with the grow light on and 6 hours off, and keep the heat mat on all day. After the seedlings germinated, I didn't need to leave them in the grow light box and under the heat mat. I got two 2-feet light fixtures which are grow lights with T5 light bulb and stand which has 6500 Kelvin, which is full daylight. They come in two brands that I bought, which is Jiffy and there's Mackenzie. You can get them at any home department stores or gardening centres. After 2 or 3 days, you'll notice that the soil in your seedlings is a bit dry, so it's time to water. The only way you should be watering the seedlings is from the bottom, and put them in the tray and water from the bottom. Put water in the drainage holes in the containers. The soil will extract the water from the bottom because that's where you need the watering to water the roots. Fill it up about halfway, same as here. Do not water your plants from the top, because that's where you'll start getting fungus and mold growing. It's not good for seedlings. Keep them in the trays with the water for about half an hour to 1 hour, not more than that. It's been 1 hour and I'll show you how to extract the water. If your containers are small and there's no room, you can extract the water by just extracting it from turkey baster and putting it back in the watering can. Or if they're big like these, just remove them and just dump the water. It's been 3 weeks and the seedlings have started to grow their true leaves, and now it's time to give them some plant food. True leaves are the ones that will produce the vegetables, and this is the Swiss chard. There were the baby leaves here and they're the true leaves here. When true leaves start to appear, they're ready to get some plant food, which is organic water-soluble fertilizer. You will need to get something close to 555, which is the NPK. I'm only going to be using a teaspoon of this in the seedlings. You can either use organic water-soluble fertilizer or compost tea. I'll use the 1 teaspoon into some water, mix it up. I'm going to water from the bottom. The plants will extract the nutrients from the plant food. I will leave the water in this tray for at least 1 hour and then I will pour it out. You will need to feed the plants with the organic fertilizer every 7 days. You'll need to water your plants every 2 to 3 days, or when you see that your plants are a bit dry, the soil. It's been 1 hour since I've fed the plant with a water-soluble fertilizer, and there are two easy ways to take the water out. Either using a turkey baster, just like that, and pour it back into the watering can, or just take the seedlings out and dump the tray with the water into your garden. I'll be taking the vegetables out every day for half an hour under shade to harden off, which is to accumulate to the weather, to the sun. You need to do this every day and then increase it by an hour and then 2 hours and then maybe a full day, but always bring them inside during the night. It's been 5 weeks since I started the Swiss chard from seed. Now it's time to plant it in a container. You will need some organic vegetable potting mix, some mulch or wood chips for drainage, organic vegetable or fertilizer, earthworm castings, water-soluble organic fertilizer. This is the potting mix. You'll need some water. This is a 5-gallon container with drainage holes and a label. First, we'll add the mulch for drainage. Spread it out. This will help it retain water, just like that. Then we'll add the potting mix. Fill it all the way to the top. Looks great. Now we're going to put a hole in here, just so we can add the fertilizer and the worm castings. Add about a cup of the worm castings. Mix it in. Then we're going to add 3 tablespoons of the fertilizer. Add the specified amount for that particular vegetable. Mix it all in that hole. It's a slow releasing fertilizer, so you only need to do it once. Grab the Swiss chard, turn it upside down, squeeze, pot. Wow, look at that. Great healthy roots. Just spread them out a little bit, just so they can spread over. Turn it back upside down. Spread the soil back, just like that. Just in the center there. I've added half a cup of the water-soluble fertilizer into the water. I'm just going to water the Swiss chard now, just all around. Make sure not to get the leaves wet right now. I'm going to add some wood chips around to retain moisture. Spread it across. Can't wait to harvest. And don't forget to label. It's been 4 weeks since I transplanted the Swiss chard in a container. Now it's time to harvest the leaves. Swiss chard in Assyrian is called silqa. I love using the Swiss chard leaves in making dolma or chopped up in stews with kubahamath. For all recipes using Swiss chard, I'll provide the links to all the recipes in the description box. To harvest Swiss chard, you always need to cut from the bottom on the outside leaves. Just like that. Look at that beauty. So beautiful. All you need to do is just cut them like that and you make dolma. The leaves are used to make the dolma, or you can chop it up and make stews. Do this big one also. I'll just cut it from the bottom there. Just like that. When they grow this size, they're ready to harvest. They always grow from the inside. That's the crown there. So you always leave them there to keep growing. I'll cut this one, just like that. I'll leave this to grow. Continue to harvest your Swiss chard as soon as they become a larger size, and continue to feed your plant with the water-soluble fertilizer every 7 days and water your container every day. Remember to subscribe to my channel, like, comment and share this video with your friends. Happy gardening, everyone!